State. Step was step, play was play, Draymond was Draymond. He fit in seamlessly. If he went to Boston and played alongside Tatum, or if he went to New Orleans and played alongside Zion, do you think those guys who are still growing, do you think their game would go to another level playing with KD, or would take a step back now that they went from the main guy to the secondary guy?
No, I believe their game would definitely get better. KD takes a lot of pressure on him. So this is a guy, he's a one-option guy. And you guys talking about will he be the lead guy on the team? Any one of these teams, even if he went back to Golden State, he will be the first option. He'll be the lead guy. Now, whether or not, one thing that hurts me, and I don't know how KD is in the locker room, Wild was something, I don't know how much of a leader, how much he works on the young guys' development.
If anybody moved on from the concerns that we have about Kyler Murray's study habits because of his impromptu press conference yesterday, I know I haven't. So I don't understand why he's giving us all this lip service about what's going on and how hard he's worked to get here and all this other stuff. So let's set that aside. I think it's ridiculous. We're going to set that aside and talk about what we can look forward to in 2022 from Kyler. Because best believe with this brand new contract that he was caping for all offseason, the expectations have changed in terms of what we're looking for from Kyler Murray, both from an individual production standpoint and a team success standpoint. Now, Kyler Murray, he lost DeAndre Hopkins for the first 6 games of this season because of a PED suspension.
He's been having too much going on, bro. I'm trying to get us moving, bro. Keep come on.
Guys like AJ Green, Rondale Moore, and Hollywood Brown, those guys are going to be in different roles. And I think that's going to lend itself to this Arizona Cardinals team, and Kyler Murray struggling early on. Not to mention, guys, you're talking about the Cardinals having the second toughest strength of schedule and opening the season with 4 playoff teams in the first 5 games. You're talking about them having dates with the Kansas City Chiefs, on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders, and having to play against the defending champs, the Los Angeles Rams, in the first 3. That could be winless in October. And so if that ends up being the case, here's what we're going to come back to. The conversation that we're having now about Kyler Murray's study habits. So I'm not anticipating that he's going to have a huge season because we've seen Kyler Murray, when he gets off, when he starts the season, he usually starts off really fast. I don't think the schedule will set up for them to start fast this year. That's why I don't know if I can necessarily see him living up to the contract that the Cardinals have made about.
Yeah, from my standpoint, there's a possibility. There's always a slim possibility that he can have a big year. We can't forget, though, like the last 2 years, this guy has thrown for over 3,700 yards the last 2 years. Not to mention he does it with his legs as well. But you just mentioned something, Chris, the schedule. You just mentioned the first one of the schedule. Let me break something else up. They play New Orleans as well, Minnesota, who's going to be better. They play the teams in their division twice. They play the Los Angeles Chargers, and they play Tampa Bay, and the Denver Broncos. So do I see it happening? No, because I think the schedule is too prime time for him, and it's going to require a lot of extra studying. Get my point there. For Kyler Murray, if he's going to have success against all those teams I just named. So is it possible? Anything is possible, but DeAndre Hopkins is not going to be there the first 6 games. They did draft Trey McBride. I think they're going to play a lot of more 2 tight end sets with Trey McBride and Zach Ertz. But I don't know. I don't think it's possible, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, for me, I think one of the last things you mentioned area about DeAndre Hopkins missing this game, to me, that's huge. Because we saw the direct correlation last year. When DeAndre Hopkins missed games down the stretch last year, what happened? They tanked. Because so much of what Kyler Murray and that passing offense does, it goes right through DeAndre Hopkins. And so with DeAndre Hopkins missing 6 games to open up the season, and you have different people playing different positions, and Hollywood Brown coming over to your place, to me, that's the disaster right out of the gate, combined with, Chris, what you talked about, open up the schedule with those, powerhouse teams, right out of the gate. So I'm not optimistic about Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals this year. I just think that with the PED suspension and everything swirling around the Cardinals, I'm selling. They're a stock, I'm selling.
Look, the Cardinals finished the last 6 games of the season 1-5. They faced the Chiefs in week 1, and as Harry mentioned, a lot to go there. So hopefully Hopefully there's a lot of extra studying being done during the off-season, but we shall see. We're going to take it to a break, shall we? All right, it's been 4 years since Aaron Rodgers has made an appearance in a preseason game, and find out why someone here is saying that better change this season. And Tyreek Hill says he and Jalen Waddle will have offensive coordinators shaking in their boots this season. You heard it. We'll debate which NFL offense will truly be the scariest in 2022. More First Take coming your way.
When you have technology that's easier to control, that can scale across all your clouds.
We got that, right? Yeah, we got that.
It's easier to be an innovator, so you can do more incredible things.
What's going on? It's a farmer's policy perk. Get farmers and you can save money by doing nothing. Just be claim-free on your home insurance for 3 years. That's really something. Get a whole lot of something with farmer's policy perks.
We are farmers of the
Introducing Simply Spiked Lemonade. Real proof that left the farm has seen too much to ever go back. Simply Spiked Lemonade. Tastes like your favorite lemonade. Now spiked, it's getting juicy.
The BK $5 Grill meal is here to satisfy your cravings. Enjoy a savory Southwest Bacon Whopper Jr., small fries, 4-piece crispy nuggets, and a small drink. The $5 Your meal with Southwest Bacon Whopper Jr., only at Burger King.
New Degree Advanced. First ever 72-hour nonstop protection with motion sense. Tested to the limit. Still feeling dry and fresh. Superior 72-hour nonstop protection, however much you move. Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S.
At Domino's, you can get more than just your favorite pizza. You can get specialty chicken, savory pastas, oven-baked Parmesan bread bites, molten lava crunch cakes, and yes, medium 2-topping pizzas as well. Carry out any 2 or more mix-and-match items for $5.99 each or get them delivered for $6.99 each.
If Mark, Mr. Cartoon Machado, didn't have the fighting spirit to draw out his passion, he never would have perfected the street look that made him a street legend. That's the fighting spirit. That's what makes him lion. Look up, root for those with a fighting spirit.
In the future, we'll travel to incredible places with the help of magical technology. But what about today? I want my magical future now. I have places to go. Rocks to climb. Sights to see. And fights to catch. I can't wait for what tomorrow will bring. But in the meantime, let's enjoy the items.
Derek Jeter was in a fishbowl from the minute he arrived in New York.
It was an art form that every day Derek would make himself available, and most days he would say absolutely nothing.
He was vanilla at times. I think he knew that. That was by design. My number one focus, my number one priority always was winning.
Full size is small, and obviously a relationship with his brother. What have you seen from James and his skill set and how he could maybe potentially help his team?
A lot of similarities. As we know, the other four is a hell of a running back in this league. One of the best running backs, in my opinion. I used to argue all the time, was he top 3 or top 2? And I used to be like, well, I feel like he's one. He's the best running back. He can do everything. And it's the little that I'll say, I've seen a little bit of it the past couple of days. I saw some in the spring. But they say the apple don't fall far from the tree. So I think we got a good one. Hopefully, it pans out. But he's done some great things. He's a professional. He looks smooth. He's smooth running back. And hopefully he can add to this offense that we got.
Understanding the samples.
Go to DFS.com to get the app.
You got another one?
At home and in your dreams.
Here at New
not just our patient or our member. You're our
months after suffering a left knee injury during practice.
Are you trying to raise money for anything?
Before determining how long Jensen will be out, here's Todd Bowles with more.
I don't know the severity of it per se, but I do know he'll miss some significant time, up to a couple of months, whether he'll be back later in the season, November or December. That depends on what they find. He won't be available anytime soon.
All right, Woody, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about the impact of Jensen being out potentially a couple months.
Huge. I mean, again, we're talking about now the 3 interior linemen from 2021 aren't going to be with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. And Ryan Jensen is one of the best centers in the National Football League. And we always talk about keeping that depth in the pocket in front of Tom Brady. Tom Brady's so good at diagnosing defense both pre and post snap. But if the pressure is coming at him up the middle, that's a great neutralizer. So that's a big blow for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right out of the gate.
It's a big blow, Woody, but I would say the fact that Todd Bowles went out and said in a couple of months and not a season-ending injury is a positive for the Bucs. And we already mentioned it, the NFC South Division is going to give this team a little bit of time and a little bit of margin for error. And you could be talking about getting Ryan Jensen back after their bye week, which is week 11. And that's the time that you need him there in order to start trying to get ready to gear up for another championship run. So I'm meeting this press conference news from Todd Bowles with optimism, because it doesn't mean that Ryan Jensen is going to be gone for the entire season. They're just saying it's going to be a couple of months. I look at it as a positive. I don't necessarily know that this is the worst news if you're a Bucs fan after what Todd Bowles just said.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. I think it's really positive.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to...
During the season, and make
After Jada...
Now let's head over to Lambeau Field, where Aaron Rodgers no longer has his top receiver in Green Bay. While it'll be hard to replace a potential future Hall of Famer, Rodgers
social media and beyond
aims to keep this Packers offense running. We'll see. Matt LaFleur spoke on the possibility of Rodgers getting
Working out is part of my everyday.
Again, being not to play Aaron Rodgers in any preseason game, you could all the new faces and receiving court change that at all, or is it too early to tell?
I think that's up for discussion. So, that's not something that he and I have talked about at this point. But, yeah, certainly, again, everything's fluid right now.
Now, Rodgers hasn't taken a preseason snap since 2018, so how important is it for Rodgers to play in a preseason game? Let's start with you, Harry.
not important at all. And here's why. We have these things called, they have these things now, we don't play them.
Take off my do-rag. I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of
That are way more
I guess I could too.
preseason games. Now, a team that beat them last year in the regular season, the Green Bay Packers, that is, was the New Orleans Saints. And beat them, I think it was 38-3, 28-3, 33, one of those scores, right? I think this is genius by Matt LaFleur.
He has 4 letters, so does love.
He's the team that embarrassed you week 1 last year. They have Marshawn Lattimore, they have CJ
and the night
they have the Honey Badger now.
Coach.
Now you have guys in the secondary that you feel like are pretty good in the National Football League that can go against you.
To start this midfield.
I need gas money, but I don't get paid till next.
This is going to be a 46-yard field goal attempt. The clock is cut into a second overtime. Conroy, it's a fade. Bates is going to throw. Michigan State wins it in overtime. Let's roll the year.
Astronomical. It was something like 100 targets between the two. I mean, that's a huge amount of production that just walked out into a hot. You know that Sammy young, wide receiver they drafted, this past draft. So for me, it's like, okay, I'm not asking Aaron Rodgers to play a bunch of snaps, but just to go through the
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she?
Preseason game, that might do him some good.
Woody, I gotta say this. What are they going to be able to do in a preseason game? They're going ones
I identify as
against the New Orleans Saints.
What do you call a laughing jar of mayonnaise?
strawberry minute.
Preseason game, unless it's the third game, and we know it's not the third game. It's the second game. So what are they going to be able to do in a preseason game? They can't get done in practice against the New Orleans Saints in their defense.
Ooh, no, baby.
40 more mice.
They did draft two rookie wide receivers, and they'll both guys really they're gonna need those guys this year. Are we really counting on Sammy Watkins? Are we counting on Sammy Watkins?
You know my biggest fear?
I mean, after with Devontae Adams walking that door, they don't need those young guys. So I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers is out there taking a bunch of snaps in a preseason game, but I'm just saying just go through the mechanics of it, get up mechanics.
It's not.
That's
confusion, Miro.
Rodgers should be playing in any preseason game.
Cooper Cup.
And I hate to go against you, but
Go ahead.
with Harry on this one, man. I don't need the back-to-back MVP going out there and risking injury, especially with David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins, his top two offensive linemen, being on PUP. And we just got the news a couple of days ago.
I absolutely said exactly.
Had a second knee procedure. At all times because I'm depending on that guy to be a force multiplier in terms of elevating the talent around him. The other part to this is
Talk to me nice, look, perfect, dirty, dreaming, on cloud up, know that I'm dreaming, full, I'm leaning, know that I'm
Oh my goodness,
Talk to me nice, look, perfect, dirty, dreaming, on cloud up, know that I'm dreaming, full, I'm leaning, know that I'm.
I mean, I guess this is what comes with it. You're my best friend. And if anything ever happened to you.
What has been the reaction to this latest development?
It's just.
There's so much hammering in the neighborhood.
It's a lot. I'm scared of it. Not cool, Thors. Anyone got a light?
Order pizza. How do you guys